The survival base building genre is absolutely exploding right now. From underwater colonies to medieval kingdoms, from alien planets to zombie apocalypses, there's never been a better time to be a builder. Whether you're looking for your next 1,000-hour obsession or just want to see what's pushing the genre forward, this list has something for everyone. Let's jump in. Bellwright launched on April 23, 2024, less than 8 months ago, and it just dropped the Maiden Voyage update on December 9, 2025. In that short window, this went from interesting medieval survival with potential to a full RPG experience with a massive expansion that's literally the size of the original game. This is early access done right. Bellwright launched as this ambitious medieval town-building survival RPG from Donkey Crew, the folks behind Last Oasis, and the pitch was immediately compelling. You play as a peasant framed for murdering the prince, sentenced to death, barely escape execution, and now you're leading a rebellion against the evil queen who's oppressing the kingdom of Carvenia. You're building settlements, recruiting NPCs, liberating villages, and uncovering the conspiracy behind why you were framed. The core gameplay at launch was solid. You started gathering sticks and stones, built your first shack, chose where to place your settlement, not too close to villages where you can't harvest resources, not too far from quest hubs. Standard survival loop. Get a workbench, research table, unlock tools like axes and pickaxes. But here's where Bellwright differentiated itself. The NPC recruitment system. Villages were occupied by enemy factions. You'd complete quests, find items, deal with bandit camps, navigate village drama, and earn 3 key resources: gold for trading, trust for village reputation, and renown to actually recruit people. 4 trust tiers: associate, friend, protector, Bellwright. As you climbed ranks, you could recruit better villagers, beggars at associate, citizens at friend, skilled apprentices higher up. At protector rank, you could liberate the entire village from faction control. Once recruited, NPCs joined your settlement with their own skill spreads. Combat attributes like strength and agility, work attributes like harvesting, farming, cooking, crafting, research, labor. Every NPC had max skill caps, so a level 9 harvester would have 70% productivity bonus over a level 2. You'd assign priorities to buildings and activities, eventually managing 50 to 100 production buildings and 50 plus people in an automated economy. Some NPCs had traits. Coward made them weak in combat. Tireless boosted endurance. Marksman specialized in bows but weakened melee. Morale mattered too. Feed them berries for weeks and they're miserable. Give them nice houses late game and they're productive. The 79% positive rating is holding steady while the game adds massive features. The Villages 2.0 update in November proved they were committed to polish. Maiden Voyage in December proved they were committed to ambition. This is what early access should look like. Launch with a strong foundation. Bellwright had that from day one with its settlement automation, NPC recruitment, directional combat, and narrative questlines. Then, use early access to listen to the community and execute on the obvious gaps. Defensive walls? Done. Weapon variety? Done. Endgame content? Here's an entire expansion. And they're not stopping. The roadmap still includes cavalry, which is why spears just got added, fortifications beyond palisades, more regions, expanded story, more progression tiers. Surrounded is the zombie survival game that one developer, literally one person doing this as a side project, has been building into something special. This is open-world survival with all the expected mechanics: looting, crafting, vehicles that break down, skill progression, weapons degradation. But what makes it interesting for base builders is the flexibility. You can claim existing structures like bunkers and fire stations, or you can build modular compounds from scratch in the wilderness. And unlike most early access survival games, Surrounded gives you actual empty buildings specifically designed as base locations. Let me start with what sets Surrounded apart: the bunker system. There are 4 empty underground bunkers scattered across the map, and they're basically move-in ready apocalypse apartments. These aren't tiny survival shelters. We're talking full underground complexes with multiple rooms, garage space, and enough square footage for serious operations. The northern bunker is popular, but personally, I prefer the central one south of the prison on that dirt road. Central location, access to multiple loot routes, and isolated enough that zombie traffic stays manageable. But bunkers aren't your only option. The community loves using fire stations because of the central map positioning and massive interior space. 2 vehicle bays, office areas, tons of parking, easy to fortify. Warehouses offer similar benefits. Huge open floor plans perfect for organizing storage and crafting stations. Some players even claim firewatch towers on hilltops, building around that strategic elevation advantage. The beauty of Surrounded is you're not limited to designated base zones. See a warehouse you like? Claim it. Find a construction site with good bones? Make it yours. The building system runs on a 3-tier workbench progression. Start by crafting a basic crafting bench from your inventory. Just press Tab, open the crafting tab, build it, then right-click and place it. This unlocks the construction workbench, also called building station, which is where the real base building happens. Access the construction workbench and you'll see 2 tabs, Standard and Modular. Standard has your basic placeables: storage containers, campfires, furniture, defenses. Modular is where you build structures. The modular system is relatively new to Surrounded, and it's a game changer. Wooden foundations, walls, floors, stairs, roofs, door frames, windows, all snap together seamlessly. No tedious micro-adjustments trying to align pieces. Look at an existing modular piece and new ones automatically snap to it. This lets you construct multi-story buildings, custom compounds, perimeter walls, whatever your design requires. Full creative freedom with foundations, half walls, quarter foundations, triangle pieces for complex angles, gable roofs, corner stairs. The building vocabulary is comprehensive. Currently, everything is wooden tier, but the framework exists for upgrades. Think of it like early 7 Days to Die or Rust progression, where you start with wood and eventually unlock metal and concrete. For now, wooden fortifications work fine because, and here's the thing, there are no AI base attacks yet. It's on the roadmap, but currently base building is purely about storage organization and establishing your operational hub. No horde knights, no raiders, just you creating your perfect post-apocalyptic home. Storage strategy differs based on playstyle. The game has infinite backpack stacking, which means dedicated nomads literally live out of their vehicles. SWAT truck becomes mobile base, tent and sleeping bag for spawn points, portable crafting station for repairs. But if you're like me and you enjoy the settlement aspect, you'll want proper storage. You can use existing containers in claimed buildings, craft your own storage boxes and crates, or mix both approaches. Pro tip: you can toggle container loot refresh in settings, turning any existing container into permanent storage. Location strategy comes down to 3 factors: trader proximity, resource access, and map position. Bases near NPC vendors mean easy shopping and selling without long drives. Central map positions minimize travel time to any POI. Proximity to towns increases resource density, but also zombie encounters. Some players prefer remote bunkers for security. Others want that fire station in the middle of everything for convenience. There's no wrong answer. It depends on whether you value safety or efficiency. One underutilized feature: You can remove clutter from some buildings using a shovel. Not every building supports it yet, early access limitations. But when it works, you can clear out debris and really customize interior spaces. Combined with placeable furniture and decorations, you can transform generic structures into personalized bases. The crafting station hierarchy extends beyond construction. That third-tier weapons bench unlocks ammunition crafting and weapon modifications. Combined with your construction workbench, you're building a fully functional compound with everything you need for long-term survival. Vehicle bay, weapons manufacturing, storage organization, cooking facilities, sleeping quarters. And here's what makes Surrounded special for the base building community. It's being developed by someone who listens. Modular building was added based on player feedback. Bunker redesigns are coming in the next major update. NPC recruitment and base defense mechanics are planned. This is early access done right, a solo developer building features the community actually wants. Surrounded proves that even as a side project from a single developer, you can create compelling base building systems. When you give players empty bunkers to customize, modular pieces that actually snap together, and the freedom to build anywhere on a massive map, base building becomes genuine creative expression. And when you finally transform that underground bunker into a fully stocked survival compound with organized storage, crafting stations, and aesthetic touches, that's the indie survival base building experience worth supporting. Developed by Fairview Games and co-published by Sightline Games, the Gold River Project drops you and up to 3 friends into a Pacific Northwest nature reserve for what starts as a peaceful camping trip. Your guide never returns. You discover you're trapped inside a massive experiment with walls sealing off the wilderness and something watching from the shadows. Available on PC via Steam, the game emphasizes atmosphere and discovery over constant combat. Think sound design, weather, and isolation, creating tension rather than non-stop enemy encounters. Here's what matters for base building. You're managing actual campsites with survival stakes. Base building centers on establishing and expanding campsites across the wilderness. You're pitching tents, constructing shelter structures, and building the infrastructure needed to survive increasingly harsh conditions. This isn't permanent fortress construction. It's mobile camping that reflects genuine wilderness survival. Campsites support crafting benches, storage solutions, cooking stations for meal preparation, water purification systems, and farm plots for sustainable food production. Research new crafting recipes by examining discovered items or trading with NPC factions scattered across the map. Then expand your campsite capabilities as you unlock advanced survival equipment. The building system emphasizes practical survival infrastructure over creative construction. You're setting up functional camps that protect against weather, provide resource processing, and support exploration deeper into dangerous territory. The Gold River project uses player-controlled seasonal advancement. Seasons don't progress automatically. You decide when to push into fall biomes with harsher weather, then eventually winter zones with extreme survival challenges. Summer offers abundant resources and gentler conditions for establishing your foundation. Fall introduces resource scarcity and tougher weather. Winter brings freezing temperatures and deadly hazards. Seasons spread to previously explored biomes, meaning areas you thought safe become progressively more hostile. Your campsite design needs to account for escalating environmental threats as you advance through seasonal progression. You're managing health, hunger, hydration, fatigue, and temperature while scavenging every useful item. Cook meals at campfires, purify water, craft weapons and survival tools, and trade with randomly spawning NPC factions. Though some factions are hostile and require a careful approach. The game features procedural variation in substations, supply locations, and points of interest, ensuring different playthroughs offer unique exploration. Player-hosted servers support co-op groups wanting control over their survival experience. The Gold River project focuses on atmosphere-driven survival without forcing constant combat. You're building practical wilderness camps that evolve with seasonal challenges, managing realistic survival needs, and uncovering a mystery through exploration rather than quest markers. The emphasis on camping authenticity, pitching tents, establishing base camps, living off the land, creates grounded survival rather than fantasy-based construction. Launched less than a week ago in early access with 12 to 18 months planned development, adding winter season, deeper crafting systems, additional wildlife, expanded co-op features, and more camper factions.
Up to you. Stay safe.
Alright, so Icarus is probably the most beautiful and most brutal survival game I've played, and I'm not even exaggerating. This is from Dean Hall, the guy who made DayZ, so you know it's going to be intense. You're basically dropping onto this failed terraforming planet where literally everything wants you dead. The wildlife, the weather, even the atmosphere itself. And here's the kicker. Icarus just announced it's coming to consoles with the New Frontiers expansion bundled in. Plus, they're dropping the Dangerous Horizons DLC soon with a whole new region called Elysium. The devs are insane with updates too. We're at week 217 plus with updates dropping every single week. That's commitment. But let's talk base building, because Icarus does it completely different from every other survival game. So here's the unique part. Icarus has 3 game modes now. There's missions, timed drops where your base gets wiped after, open world, permanent bases on the full map, and outposts, basically creative mode with no threats. This gives you options depending on your playstyle. The base building progression is legit satisfying. You start with thatch, which is basically sticks and grass. Don't even bother, storms will destroy it in seconds. Jump straight to wood at level 5. Wood is solid for early game, but here's the problem. Lightning strikes will set your base on fire. I've come back from mining trips to find my entire wooden house burning down. You need thwackers ready at all times. Then you unlock stone at level 15, which requires a masonry bench and iron components. Stone won't catch fire, but it's heavy and resource intensive. Late game, concrete and aluminum. Concrete is basically indestructible. Storms, lightning, nothing touches it. But getting the silica ore, stone, and steel, that's endgame grind. What's brilliant is the building stability system. Everything has color indicators. Blue is super stable, green is okay, red means it's about to collapse. You need beams and foundations as load-bearing structures, and concrete beams can support 10 to 11 floors vertically. It's like actual engineering. Location strategy is huge too. Flat ground is rare, so most players build multiple bases across different biomes. Pro tip, build at biome entrances so you can access different resources easily. Some players even run multiple characters spread across the map for efficiency. And the weather? Absolutely punishing. Storms will tear through weak structures, winds can collapse entire buildings, and you need to constantly monitor conditions. It's survival that actually feels like survival. Icarus in 2026 is looking insane. Between console launch, the new expansion, and those weekly updates, this game just keeps evolving. Rising World, available in early access on PC via Steam. Rising World has been in development for over a decade, and the developers have spent that time creating what I genuinely believe is the most powerful, most flexible, and most satisfying building system in any survival game. Let me explain why this is number 1. Rising World uses a voxel-based building system combined with precision placement tools that give you creative freedom that's genuinely unmatched. You're not limited to preset building pieces. You can shape blocks, beams, planks, and cylinders at virtually any size and angle you want. Want a wall that's exactly 2.3 meters tall with a 15-degree slope? Done. Need a custom-sized beam to span a specific distance? No problem. The building material system is incredibly deep. You've got different wood types: oak, pine, birch, each with unique textures. Stone varieties: granite, limestone, sandstone, metals, iron, steel, copper, glass, and even specialized materials like marble and concrete. Each material can be textured, painted, and shaped. The recent updates added even more material options and improved the textures to look stunning. But the real magic is in the construction blocks themselves. You've got planks for walls and floors, beams for structural support, cylinders for pillars and rounded elements, arcs for doorways and windows, wedges for roofs, and more. Every single block can be resized along all 3 axes and rotated in any direction. This means you can create architectural styles from any period or culture. Medieval castles with Gothic arches, Japanese temples with curved roofs, modern glass and steel buildings, Victorian mansions, log cabins, and literally anything else. The Precision Movement System lets you nudge blocks by tiny increments, or snap them to a grid. You can offset blocks, overlap them for complex designs, and use different scaling to create intricate details. The building tools include surface alignment. Blocks automatically match the angle of whatever you're building on, auto-rotation, and copy-paste functionality. See a complex design element you created? Copy it and place it elsewhere instantly. Rising World also has one of the best interior decoration systems I've seen. Hundreds of furniture items, decorations, and functional objects are available. We're talking complete kitchen sets with stoves, sinks, and refrigerators, bathroom fixtures with working toilets, bathtubs, and showers, bedroom furniture with different bed styles, wardrobes, and nightstands, workshop tools, paintings, and wall decorations, lighting fixtures from torches to chandeliers to modern lamps, plants and garden decorations, and even musical instruments, like the piano I mentioned earlier that you can actually play. The game's crafting system ties into building beautifully. You need workbenches for different crafting categories, but you can build elaborate workshops and factories. The recent updates added machinery like sawmills and smithing equipment that can be incorporated into your builds. What really puts Rising World over the top is the sheer scale you can achieve. The procedurally generated worlds are massive, and there's no build limit. Want to build an entire medieval village with dozens of buildings? Go ahead. A sprawling castle complex with walls, towers, a keep, and surrounding settlements? Absolutely. A modern city with skyscrapers, roads, and infrastructure? It's possible. Players have built functioning schools, elaborate train stations, mansions that rival real architectural works, and even replicas of famous buildings. The cave systems add another dimension. You can build underground bases, excavate your own caverns, or create elaborate underground cities. The mining and terraforming tools let you shape the landscape itself, so you're not limited to building on existing terrain. The multiplayer aspect is fully supported, and the game has a thriving modding community. The plugin API lets developers add new features, and players share their creations constantly. The Steam Workshop integration means you can download complete buildings to place in your world or share your own masterpieces. Rising World currently has 85% very positive reviews on Steam, and the community is incredibly supportive and creative. The developers are active, constantly adding new features, improving performance, and listening to feedback. They completely rewrote the game engine to improve performance and add even more capabilities. A move that could have alienated the community, but was executed so well that players praised it. Now, I should mention, Rising World is still in early access, and it shows in some areas. The survival elements are fairly basic. There aren't many hostile creatures, and the gameplay loop besides building is minimal. But that's kind of the point. This game is for people who want to build. The developers have stated they're adding more gameplay elements, but the building will always be the core focus. If you want complete creative freedom, the most powerful building tools available, and the ability to create literally anything you can imagine, from rustic cabins to massive castles to modern architectural marvels, Rising World is the game. This is the ultimate sandbox for builders. You wake up on a beach with literally nothing, and within hours you're either thriving in a fortress or getting raided while you're offline. It's brutal, man. The game's hitting over 260,000 concurrent players, so the competition is fiercer than ever. The basic loop? You're smashing rocks, chopping trees, hunting animals, and constantly paranoid because, trust me, everyone wants what you have. It's survival meets trust issues, and I'm here for it. But real talk, base building is where Rust truly separates the rookies from the veterans. I can tell you that your base isn't just some shelter. It's your vault, your respawn point, your entire game. And the devs gave us this incredible deployable snapping feature that makes placing furnaces, lockers, and shelves so much easier. No more pixel hunting to align your tool cupboard in that tight 1x1. It just snaps into place now. Here's the thing about smart base building. You start with a basic 2x2, maybe some stone walls and a couple doors. Cool starter base, right? Nope. You're getting raided tonight. The real meta is honeycomb, building empty triangle foundations around your core that force raiders to burn through insane amounts of rockets and C4 just to maybe reach your loot. You want double or triple layers around your TC room, armored garage doors stacking up raid costs, shooting floors for defense, and airlocks so door campers can't just rush you. And here's a pro move: fake loot rooms with traps. Make raiders waste their explosives on decoy bases while your real stash is hidden somewhere they'd never expect. The progression feels incredible too. You're going from twig shacks to stone, then metal, and finally those armored fortresses that look like military bunkers. Plus, with the new mini fridge deployable fitting under half-height floors, you can hide stashes in the most creative spots. And location? Huge decision. Build near monuments for fast loot, but expect constant PvP. Hide in the snow biome for safety, but slower progression. Some crazy players are even building on tugboats now for that mobile base flex. Rust's base building has this perfect balance where creativity meets pure strategy. Yeah, you'll get raided, but next wipe, you're building smarter. Okay, so Dune Awakening launched in June 2025, and it's absolutely massive. This is Funcom's take on the Dune universe as an MMO survival game, and they're not messing around. We're talking hundreds of players on one server, ornithopters you can fly, sandworms that'll swallow you whole, and base building that's actually critical to survival. The game hit over 140,000 concurrent players at launch and sold 1 million copies in 2 weeks. Chapter 2 just dropped in September with the Lost Harvest DLC, and Chapter 3 is coming early 2026 with Raiders of the Broken Lands. Console versions are hitting PS5 and Xbox Series X/S sometime in 2026 too. But let's talk about base building because Dune does it completely different from any other survival game. First off, you're not just building a base. You're claiming territory from the Emperor himself, and yeah, you gotta pay taxes. The bigger your base gets, the more expensive your taxes become. Don't pay? The Sardaukar show up at your door, and trust me, these aren't regular enemies. They're the Emperor's elite forces, and they will absolutely wreck you. Here's how it works. You place a sub-fief console using your construction tool, which claims your territory. Basic sub-fiefs are fixed size, but advanced subfiefs can be expanded with staking units vertically and horizontally. You can build 11 by 11 by 15 zones. You're limited to 3 bases total, but only 1 can be advanced. Location is everything. You want to build on rock formations, not sand. Why? Sandworms. If you're on sand, a worm can literally come up and destroy your entire base. Build on those rocky outcroppings and you're protected. Plus, you want to be near resource nodes and away from the deep desert unless you're feeling brave. The shield system is what makes Dune unique. Your subfief console generates a shield that protects your base from the weekly Coriolis storm, this massive sandstorm that wipes the entire deep desert clean every Tuesday. If your shield runs out of power, your base starts decaying. Other players can raid it. The storm destroys it. Game over. Power management is crucial. You need fuel-powered generators constantly stocked with fuel cells to keep shields up, water flowing from wind traps, and all your crafting stations running. Run out of power mid-storm, you're done. And the base reconstruction tool they just added in December 2025? Game changer. You can now migrate your entire base, all your buildings, inventory, vehicles, to a new server or location when servers merge. No more rebuilding from scratch. What's wild is you can claim abandoned bases if players stop paying taxes. See a sick base with machines already built? If there's no subfief console and shields are down, it's yours for the taking. Dune Awakening in 2026 is shaping up insane. With Chapter 3's endgame revamp coming and console launch on the horizon, this game's about to explode even bigger. Alright, so Conan Exile's just hit its 7-year anniversary, and honestly, this game is still going strong. We're talking a massive December 2025 update that just dropped with sorcery overhauls, quality of life improvements, and even a new dodge roll mechanic. Yeah, you can finally dodge roll like a proper barbarian now. The devs at Funcom decided to pause new content in 2025 to focus on stability and bug fixes, and honestly, best decision ever. The game runs smoother than it ever has, and they're gearing up for more content in 2026 after making the foundation rock solid. But let's talk base building, because Conan Exiles has some of the most satisfying base construction in any survival game. Here's what makes it special. You've got 3 tiers of building materials, and each tier changes everything. Tier 1, Sandstone, can be destroyed by weapons, so don't get too attached. Tier 2, Stone Brick / Reinforced Stone, requires explosives to break through. Tier 3, Black Ice / Reinforced Brick, good luck. The health is so high that raiders need siege equipment or literally summon a god to break in. Yes, you can summon actual gods in this game. The December update made building even better. Now your followers carry building materials for you. No more over-encumbering yourself just to build that extension. Crafting stations auto-pull resources from your inventory. It's the little things that make huge differences. Location is everything in Conan. You want to build against natural terrain, cliffs, mountains, canyons, because environmental walls can't be destroyed. Smart players build into hillsides, so at least one side of their base is completely invulnerable. You're also looking for choke points, single entrance locations where you can funnel raiders into kill zones. The structural integrity system is brilliant. Every piece has a stability percentage shown with your repair hammer. Build too high without proper support, your entire tower collapses. You need pillars, beams, and proper foundation work. It's like actual engineering, and when you nail a massive tower build that stays standing, chef's kiss. And here's the pro strategy. Build multiple bases. Spread your loot across different locations so when, not if, you get raided, you don't lose everything. Keep sacrificial chests near crafting stations with junk loot so raiders grab that instead of your good stuff. The Purge system adds another layer. Every 7 days, waves of NPCs attack your base based on where you built. Build in the north? Enjoy frost giants. Desert? Sandstorms and scorpions. You need defenses, archer thralls, traps, palisades, or you're getting wiped. With the new thrall trading system from the December update, you can now buy and sell followers for gold coins, making base defense setup way easier. Conan Exiles in 2026 is looking solid. 7 years in and still evolving.
Remember the Forest's clunky blueprint system where you placed ghosted structures and filled them with logs? Sons of the Forest said, "What if we let players actually build?" and introduced a freeform construction system that transforms base building from template placement into genuine carpentry. You're holding logs, sticks, and rocks manually, and the game gives you visual guidelines showing exactly where and how pieces connect. It's first-person construction that feels tactile, creative, and infinitely more flexible than its predecessor. The dual building system gives you 2 approaches. Press B to open your guidebook, and you're in the new freeform mode by default, a visual reference showing construction techniques while you place materials freely. Hold X to switch to classic mode, which brings back blueprint structures for quick shelters, tarp tents requiring just a tarp and 2 sticks, hunting shelters, small log cabins, lookout towers. Blueprints are perfect for fast survival setups when cannibals are closing in, but freeform building is where Sons of the Forest shines. Here's how manual construction works. Grab a log, your primary building material from felled trees, and white dashed guidelines appear showing placement options. Place 4 log stumps vertically to mark foundation corners. This levels uneven terrain automatically. Lay horizontal logs between vertical supports to create walls. Stack them 6 logs high, 1 more than the forest's 5 log walls, to build perimeter defenses. Place whole logs horizontally for roof beams, and the game shows moving arrows indicating orientation. Right-click to change lane direction. Split logs in half with your axe to fill gaps without wasting materials. Each placement triggers new dashed line prompts, showing what you can add next. Doors, windows, stairs, reinforcements. Defensive structures are crucial because cannibals and mutants actively attack your base. Build defensive walls by placing vertical logs next to each other. Then, use your axe on the red dotted prompts at log tops to sharpen them into spikes. Sharpened defensive walls prevent enemies from climbing over. Regular walls can be scaled. Surround your base with stick structures adorned with body parts, crafted from, well, you know, to signal dominance and scare off potential attackers. Build log fences as perimeters. Install traps. Small animal traps for food, bone maker traps setting humanoids on fire, fly swatter traps for big game, hokey pokey traps with swinging spiked balls. Lockable doors keep intruders out. Elevated tree shelters, 2x2 log platforms attached to trees, provide height advantage and safety. Reinforcement is critical for structural integrity. Strengthen wooden pillars by placing rocks or half logs diagonally at upper corners. Curved arrows appear showing reinforcement points. This increases durability against attacks and allows you to remove redundant interior pillars in larger buildings, creating open floor plans without losing stability. The guidebook shows reinforcement techniques for pillars, roofs, and foundations. Resource gathering becomes your primary activity. Logs are everything. You'll need hundreds for substantial bases. Chop trees with your axe. They fall in the direction you're facing, so aim carefully to avoid injury. Send Kelvin, your AI companion, to collect logs continuously while you build. Set up log collectors near construction sites to stockpile materials. Sticks, stones, and rope are found in camps, crash sites, and caves. Location matters strategically. Build near water sources for hydration and fish. Forest clearings offer visibility to spot approaching threats. Mountain areas provide defensible high ground. Beach shores give open sightlines. Avoid the helicopter crash site and GPS markers. They attract cannibals. Best defensive location? Build on non-freezing rivers where cannibals can't reach you easily. Multi-story construction uses vertical logs as supports and horizontal logs as floor layers. Build stairs by placing logs at angles. Guidelines show proper stair placement. Create interior rooms by partitioning walls. Add doors by chopping holes into walls. Hit red dotted lines with your axe, then place logs following prompts. Windows work similarly. Build fireplaces inside structures for heating and cooking. Rain catchers collect water, unusable during winter when they freeze. Standing planters and wall planters grow food from seeds during warm seasons. Utility buildings expand functionality. Storage units organize resources. Skull lamps light areas. Scarecrows prevent birds from stealing crops. Birdhouses passively collect feathers for arrows. The repair tool fixes structural damage after attacks. Minor damage repairs quickly, but total destruction requires complete rebuilds. What makes Sons of the Forest's building special is how physical it feels. You're not clicking menus. You're holding logs, positioning them manually, watching dashed guidelines appear as you rotate pieces, hearing the thunk as materials snap into place. Split a log with your axe, and the other half flies off realistically. Drop it with G first to control where pieces land. Build a foundation on uneven ground and watch it adapt to terrain contours. Construct walls that actually block enemies. Create custom layouts impossible with blueprints. Angled roofs, multi-wing structures, fortified compounds with overlapping defenses. Your base evolves from a tarp tent on day one to a fortified compound with defensive perimeters, elevated platforms, secured storage, farming infrastructure, and living quarters. Kelvin can finish blueprint structures you start, but can't do free-form construction. That creativity is all yours. Virginia, your other companion, doesn't build but will help defend. For base builders who want survival construction that feels genuinely hands-on, where you're placing every log manually and seeing structures emerge from your physical labor while cannibals prowl the tree line waiting for nightfall, Sons of the Forest delivers primal satisfaction. Your shelter isn't spawned from a menu. You built it, log by log. Ark Survival Ascended is the Unreal Engine 5 remake that transforms the original's notoriously clunky building system into something genuinely functional. You're still crafting bases on prehistoric islands filled with dinosaurs you can tame and ride, but now the construction mechanics actually cooperate with your vision. This isn't just graphical polish, it's a fundamental overhaul that turns base building from frustrating snap point battles into creative architectural engineering where tamed creatures become living infrastructure. The building overhaul solves Ark's biggest pain point: structure placement. Enhanced snap points accurately show where pieces will connect before you place them, eliminating the guessing game that plagued Survival Evolved. Cycling systems let you switch between wall variants, solid walls, doorways, window frames, using a single engram instead of learning dozens of separate blueprints for every variation. Quarter walls and railings toggle between options seamlessly. Place structures upside down, horizontally, or vertically for creative freedom impossible in the original. Diagonal pillars and flat foundations enable complex architectural designs. The entire engram system was streamlined. You'll spend hundreds fewer points just to build basic structures. The pickup mechanic is transformative. In Survival Evolved, Moving a foundation destroyed everything attached to it: walls, ceilings, crafting stations. Ascended adds items to your inventory instead of obliterating them. Redesign your base layout without losing hours of construction. Test foundation placements and relocate them if positioning isn't perfect. This single change makes iterative base design actually feasible instead of punishingly permanent. Remote infrastructure eliminates clutter dramatically. The old irrigation system required massive pipe networks snaking everywhere to transport water. Now place a stone or metal water intake near water sources, and it creates an invisible irrigation range. Place water tanks within that range to extend coverage further. No physical pipes connecting anything. Any structure within range is considered irrigated. The electrical system works identically. Generators power nearby structures wirelessly within range, eliminating tangled wire spaghetti throughout your base. It's infrastructure that works like modern Wi-Fi instead of 1990s cabling. Material progression follows familiar survival tiers, but with improved structural integrity. Start with thatch, weak, temporary shelters, upgrade to wood, basic protection, then stone, mid-tier durability, metal, strong defense against most threats, and finally, tech, endgame technology with special properties. Each tier withstands progressively harsher environmental conditions and creature attacks. Upgrade walls to metal for defense against hostile dinosaurs. Add spiked walls for perimeter protection that damages attacking creatures automatically. Location strategy balances resource access, defensive positioning, and creature spawns. Build near water sources for irrigation and fishing. Forest areas provide wood and fiber but attract predator spawns. Beach locations offer visibility and escape routes but expose you to amphibious threats. Elevated positions like cliffs provide natural defenses. Island bases create water barriers, limiting land-based creature access. Some players build treehouse bases attached to massive redwood trees for aerial safety, requiring flying tames for access. Underwater bases use specialized tech structures for aquatic fortresses. The craziest build? Constructing entire mobile bases on the backs of tamed titanosaurs, the game's largest creatures, creating nomadic fortresses that move. Taming integration makes bases functional beyond shelter. Tame dinosaurs serve as living base components. Ankylosaurus gather metal and stone, Castoroides produce cementing paste and wood, Dodocarus harvest stone efficiently, Argentavis transport heavy materials across distances. Build dedicated creature pens within your base perimeter using fence foundations and walls. Create breeding facilities with climate control for raising baby dinosaurs requiring specific temperatures. Construct storage facilities where tamed pack mules like Parasaur function as mobile inventory. Your base isn't just player housing, it's dinosaur infrastructure managing resource-gathering creatures, combat mounts, and breeding programs simultaneously. Advanced features unlock through progression. Tech tier introduces powered structures with special properties. Teleporters connecting distant bases. Force fields providing automated defense. Generators producing infinite power from specific resources. Cryopods storing tamed creatures in portable form. Build advanced crafting stations. Fabricators for endgame equipment. Industrial forges smelting massive quantities. Chemistry benches producing advanced materials. Tech replicators crafting high-tech gear. Defensive design matters critically on PvP servers. Multi-layered walls with turret coverage create killing zones. Plant species X, defensive plants, slow and damage raiders. Vaults protect valuable items with massive health pools. Hidden compartments use clever foundation tricks, concealing loot rooms. Underwater vaults exploit 3D space where raiders expect flat layouts. The building system's flexibility enables creative defensive architectures. Honeycomb structures where raiders must break through multiple wall layers. Maze-like interiors disorienting attackers. Fake loot rooms wasting raider resources. Blueprint system enables pre-planned construction. Create structure mock-ups before gathering materials, preventing wasteful builds from poor planning. Save successful designs as blueprints for rapid replication across multiple bases or servers. Share blueprints with tribe members for coordinated construction projects. The building grid ensures precise alignment. Foundations snap to grid patterns, creating clean layouts. Pillars support multi-story construction. Beams provide structural reinforcement for large spans. Ceilings double as floors for vertical expansion. Stairs, ramps, and ladders connect levels. The physics system actually matters. Poorly supported structures lose stability indicated by visual cues, eventually collapsing if support is insufficient. For base builders who want survival construction where tamed dinosaurs integrate into base infrastructure, where wireless utilities eliminate clutter, and where building mechanics actually cooperate instead of fighting you, Ark Survival Ascended delivers the game Survival Evolved should have been. Your base isn't decoration. It's a fortified dinosaur ranch, managing prehistoric creatures as living tools while defending against the planet's most dangerous wildlife. And finally, the building system doesn't make you want to punch your monitor. Let's talk about Nights Endfield, the free-to-play action RPG that launched January 22, 2026, and built half its gameplay around factory management. Developed by Hypergriff for PlayStation 5, PC, iOS, and Android, Endfield targets a 50-50 split between RPG combat and factory automation. That's not marketing talk. The automated industrial complex is genuinely half the game. You're building production networks that rival dedicated factory builders while collecting gacha operators. Hit 30 million pre-registrations before launch, and here's why the factory system matters. Now let's talk about the AIC. The AIC factory system. The AIC is your automated production network running 24/7, even offline. This isn't simple crafting. It's conveyor belts, power grids, and production chains manufacturing operator gear, consumables, upgrade materials, and stock bills, universal currency. Everything centers on the PAC, Protocol Anchor Core. Place a PAC to establish your factory. Expand with sub-PACs at discovered outposts. All sub-PACs share depot storage within each region, creating interconnected industrial networks. Production follows chains. Mining rigs extract originium, amethyst, and ferrium ore from resource nodes to conveyor belts route materials to refining units, to refined materials feed manufacturing facilities to finished products loop back to depot storage. Each building has input/output slots. Connect them via belts, configure routing, and production runs automatically. Conveyor splitters branch production lines. Protocol stash units dump finished goods directly to storage without long belt runs. The system operates as closed loops once configured properly. Power management adds strategic depth. Packs generate base power. Relay towers extend the grid up to 80 meters from power sources. Electric pylons receive tower signals and wirelessly power nearby facilities within radius. Build relay tower chains from your PAC toward remote mining nodes. Then place pylons near machines requiring electricity. Thermal banks convert ore or batteries into additional power for expanded operations. Use batteries instead of raw ore for superior conversion efficiency. Blueprint system and expansion. Save entire production layouts as blueprints and paste them elsewhere. Import community-created designs for butt capsule farms, battery production, medicine fabrication, explosive crafting. Build functional factories immediately without engineering from scratch. Regional development increases mining node purity and unlocks additional resource nodes. Raise development by rigging mining spots and upgrading outposts. Expand factory space by spending stock bills for larger build areas, supporting more simultaneous production lines. What makes it unique? Endfield treats factory management as core gameplay, not optional content. The AIC directly impacts combat power through gear production, enables exploration through power grid expansion, unlocking ancient mechanisms, and generates passive progression through automated manufacturing. You're not choosing between factory optimization and combat, you're doing both simultaneously, with each system feeding the other. If you're into base building and ship customization, this is literally your dream game right now. Let me break down why this is an absolute must-play for any base builder. First off, you can build up to 400 planetary bases across the entire universe. 400! And we're not talking tiny shacks here. Each base can have up to 3,000 parts that you can upload and share with other players. And you've got a total of 16,000 objects across your entire save file. The best part? You can build anywhere. Mountaintops, underwater, floating islands, wherever your imagination takes you. Here's the pro tip though. Never use the terrain manipulator to dig underground bases. Trust me on this. The terrain will regrow and bury your base even after days. It's a save file nightmare. Always build above ground or use stilts. Power management is actually sick in this game. You find electromagnetic hotspots using your visor's survey mode. These give you infinite electricity for your entire base. Stack multiple generators for massive power output. Then use wire cloaking units to hide all those ugly cables running everywhere. It's in the industrial modules section. Costs 30 old wire and 40 chromatic metals, but totally worth it for clean builds. Smart builders set up near paradise planets in 3-star economy systems. You get perfect weather, no aggressive sentinels, and access to better trading opportunities. Some players even build at archaeological sites because environmental hazards don't affect you there. No more radiation or heat damage while you're building. Ship customization just got completely revolutionized. The Orbital update added the Starship Outfitter at every space station where you can customize parts, colors, and decals on your existing ships. You salvage modules from ships you buy or find crashed, then mix and match to create your perfect ride. But here's where No Man's Sky just went absolutely bonkers. The Voyagers update in August 2025 added Corvette-class ships. These aren't just ships, they're flying bases. You build them piece by piece from hundreds of modules. Hull sections, wings, corridors, sleeping quarters, med bays, war rooms, kitchens, everything. And get this, you can actually walk around inside while flying through space. Your friends can board with you. You've got a full crew exploring the galaxy together in your custom-designed vessel. You can even spacewalk outside your ship, floating in the void. The interiors are fully customizable with different themed modules like Titan-class military style or Thunderbird-class outlaw aesthetic. Bottom line, No Man's Sky isn't just a base-building game anymore. It's become the ultimate creative sandbox for builders who want to design both their planetary homes and their massive space cruisers. Absolutely worth diving into. Space Engineers 2, the sequel that just launched in early access on January 27, 2025, and completely reimagined what physics-based space construction can be. Built on the new V-Rage 3 engine, Space Engineers 2 takes everything the original game established over 11 years and rebuilds it from the ground up. You're building ships, stations, and planetary bases in a fully destructible, volumetric universe where realistic physics simulation drives every interaction. It's in early access for the next 3 years with a roadmap that includes planets, survival mode, volumetric water, multiplayer, and a full story campaign. Now let's talk about what you can actually build. The Unified Grid System, game changer. Space Engineers 2 eliminates the traditional small grid versus large grid distinction with a revolutionary 25-centimeter unified grid system.
You can now build anything from intricate machinery to massive space stations within a single coherent grid. No more limitations on mixing block sizes. Everything snaps together with 25 centimeters precision. Block sizes span from 25 centimeters up through 0.5 meters, 2.5 meters, and beyond with no upper bound. The system handles shapes with the same precision, so a 2.5 meter slope occupies half the cubic space, leaving room for additional construction. You get automatic snapping based on block size, but manual fine-tuning is available with that same 25 centimeter granularity. This fundamentally changes base design possibilities. You're not working around grid restrictions anymore. You're building exactly what you envisioned. Blueprint and projection building. The blueprint system gives you snap-to-grid placement, partial copy/paste functionality, and the ability to assign blueprints directly to your toolbar. Copy entire structures or select partial grids as modular prefabs. Rotate, cut, copy, paste, then attach to existing grids seamlessly. Grid undo and redo functionality means you can experiment without consequences. Place lines and walls of blocks instantly in creative mode, test designs, and roll back changes effortlessly. Projection building takes this further in survival mode. You place holographic projections of ships, rovers, and bases, then weld them up directly from ore using your backpack. The projection shows you exactly what you're building before you commit resources. Mirroring, copy/paste, blueprints, and grid undo/redo all work with projections, letting you iterate on designs rapidly. Backpack building, survival innovation. The backpack building system revolutionizes early game survival. Your engineer's backpack auto-processes raw ore into simple components, enabling immediate construction without establishing a full industrial base first. Mine ore, and your backpack handles smelting and basic component fabrication automatically. This doesn't replace advanced manufacturing. You still need production facilities for complex components and larger constructions. But it eliminates the tedious early game grind of setting up survival kits and basic assemblers before you can build anything meaningful. Advanced creative tools. Space Engineers 2 includes professional-grade building tools integrated directly into the game. The voxel hand tool lets you sculpt terrain and asteroids. Symmetry tools ensure balanced designs without manual mirroring. Line and plane building place entire rows or walls of blocks instantly. The paint tool allows full customization of your constructions. Combined with mounting point visualization and grid lines, the building interface makes complex construction intuitive for newcomers while giving veterans unprecedented control. Character movement supports speeds up to 310 meters per second, and grids can reach 300 meters per second, fast enough for genuine space travel. Mag boots and automatic jetpack activation prevent accidental falls during construction on platforms or asteroids. Ships, stations, and planetary bases. You're building across 3 categories: space stations, starships, and planetary bases. Everything is fully destructible and physically simulated. Construct modular space stations with docking bays and production facilities. Design starships with functional systems, power, propulsion, life support, weapons. Establish planetary bases with resource extraction and manufacturing. The current early access build includes 2 planets, Verdure and Chemic, with distinct biomes, volumetric clouds, and dynamic voxel hardness. Future updates add volumetric water, enabling underwater base construction and submarine design. Steam Workshop integration. The UGC Workshop connects directly to Steam Workshop, letting you share creations and discover blueprints built by the community. Modding support through VRage 3. Mod Hub and Mod Editor gives creators professional-grade tools for custom content. What makes it unique? Space Engineers 2 isn't just iterating on the original, it's rebuilding the foundation for the next decade of space construction gameplay. The unified grid system removes artificial limitations. Projection building makes survival construction feel closer to creative mode. Backpack building eliminates early game tedium without sacrificing depth. If you want physics-based space engineering with unprecedented building precision and creative freedom, Space Engineers 2 delivers that vision in early access form, with years of development ahead expanding the possibilities. Let's talk about Hytale's building system, because this is where things get interesting. Hytale uses a voxel-based building engine, and if your first thought is, so it's Minecraft with better graphics, you're missing what makes this different. The core is block-based, sure, but Hytale's approach to what you can actually do with those blocks is where the depth shows up. The block system. Here's the thing about Hytale's blocks. They're not just cubes. The game supports standard full blocks, but also slabs, stairs, wall blocks, pillars, roof blocks, and beams, all derived from the same base material. So when you grab quartzite, for example, you're not just getting one block type. You're getting access to multiple texture variations and all those structural shapes right out of the gate. What this means in practice: you can build with actual architectural detail without needing mods or custom textures. Roof blocks have actual slope geometry. Wall blocks let you create railings that are thinner than full blocks. Pillars add vertical detail. It's the difference between building a box with a flat top and building something that actually looks like a structure. And the materials themselves? RGB tinting lets you shift the color balance of any block dynamically. The game uses this for natural variation in biomes, but builders can leverage it for custom palettes without hunting down 47 different block types. You work with the blocks you have and adjust them to fit your vision. Creative mode, the real power. If you want to talk about what separates Hytale from other voxel builders, we need to talk about creative mode. Because this isn't just fly around with infinite blocks. This is a full creation suite. Scripted brushes are the standout feature here. These are asset-defined brushes that let you generate terrain features procedurally. Mountains, grassy paths, procedurally generated ruins. You're not placing every block manually. You're sculpting with intelligent tools that understand context. And here's the key: these brushes are moddable. The community can create and share custom brushes, which means the toolset expands over time. The shape brush lets you place geometric volumes instantly: spheres, pyramids, cones, walls. You control material, density, thickness, and can apply masks for precision work. For large-scale terraforming or foundation work, this cuts build time dramatically. Then you've got the selection tool, which handles 3D area selection for copy, paste, rotate, move, and extrude operations. This is world edit level functionality built natively into the game. You can select an entire structure, duplicate it, rotate it 90 degrees, and place it somewhere else without leaving the game or installing plugins. The prefab system lets you save your builds as reusable assets and load them into a separate prefab editor for refinement. You build something once, refine it, save it, and drop it into future projects. For anyone building multiple structures or working on server content, this workflow is essential. And if you're into machinima or content creation, Hytale includes a full cinematic tool with camera actors, keyframes, and movement speed control. You can record time lapses, create tours, or produce actual cinematic sequences inside the game. The toolset is designed for creators who want to do more than just build. They want to showcase what they've built. Exploration mode, building. But what about building in survival? Because creative mode is impressive, but most players spend their time in exploration mode, where resources matter and you're building under actual gameplay constraints. The good news: exploration mode still gives you access to the full range of block types. You craft a workbench, gather materials, and you're working with the same slabs, stairs, pillars, and roof blocks that creative mode offers. The building system doesn't get stripped down just because you're in survival. The challenge: you're gathering those materials block by block. No infinite inventory, no brushes, no copy-paste tools. It's traditional survival building, which means your base construction happens incrementally as you progress through resource tiers. But here's what makes it work. Hytale's block placement includes rotation and connected block systems. Placing blocks feels responsive, and the game handles things like automatically connecting fences or aligning directional blocks. It's the small quality of life improvements that make survival building less tedious than it could be.
What makes it different?
So why does this matter compared to other voxel builders? Hytale integrates professional-grade creative tools natively. You don't need external editors, you don't need plugins, you don't need to export your world to edit terrain. The tools are part of the game, which means learning curve is lower and workflow is faster. The modding integration runs deep. Blockbench plugin for custom models, node editor for scripted behaviors, server source code being released for full customization. The game is designed around the assumption that players will create content, not just consume it. And the block variety within materials gives you architectural flexibility without inventory bloat. You're not carrying 200 different block types, you're carrying a few base materials and using the built-in variants to add detail. The honest assessment, is Hytale's building perfect? No. The game just launched in early access, and it shows. Creative mode tools are robust, but there's still bugs to work out. The snap system can be finicky. Performance tanks with massive builds. Voxel rendering is expensive, and the engine is still being optimized. Exploration mode building is functional, but basic. You're gathering resources, placing blocks, building your base. It's survival building as you know it. The advanced tools are locked to creative mode, so if you want to sculpt terrain or use selection tools in survival, you're out of luck. And here's the big caveat. Adventure mode, the full RPG experience with quests, narrative, and structured progression, isn't in the early access build. What you're getting right now is exploration mode, which is essentially sandbox survival, and creative mode. The game's full vision isn't realized yet. But here's what Hytale gets right. It gives builders room to create at scale without fighting the engine. The tools are there. The block variety is there. The creative freedom is there. It's early access, which means rough edges, but the foundation for something genuinely different is in place. If you're someone who loves voxel building and wants access to professional-grade tools without external software, Hytale's creative mode delivers. If you want survival building with actual architectural block variety, exploration mode gives you that. And if you're willing to be patient through early access development, the potential here is significant. This is Hytale's building system: voxel construction with depth, creative tools with power, and a vision that goes beyond Minecraft but newer. Whether it fully delivers on that vision depends on how development progresses from here.
Knock, knock.
You know what most survival games get wrong about base building? They make it feel like a chore you have to do before you can get to the real game. Once Human flips that completely. Your territory isn't just a storage shed, it's your entire survival infrastructure. And the building system gives you the creative freedom to make it exactly what you need it to be. Let's talk about the Territory Core system. Press B, drop your territory marker, and boom, you've claimed your piece of the apocalypse. You start with 14.4 square meters. But here's the brilliant part. You can move your entire base anywhere on the map without rebuilding. Found a better spot near aluminum veins or a strategic PvP position? Just press Z in build mode and relocate. Your structures stay intact. That's right, your whole fortress travels with you. For us base builders who've lost hours to wrong location regret in other games, this is life-changing. The building itself uses a precise grid alignment system that lets you snap foundations, walls, and facilities perfectly into place. You get 300 structure slots, 100 facility slots, and 100 decoration slots by default. Wooden frames for early game, stone and marble for mid-game fortresses, and every piece, from triangle foundations to skylight windows, designed to work together seamlessly. Want a multi-story industrial citadel? Go for it.
Prefer a resort-style base with water features and gold accents? The game won't stop you. The creative freedom here rivals dedicated building games.
But Once Human's real genius is how facilities integrate into your base design. You're not just placing decorative objects, you're building a functioning production empire. Workbenches for gear crafting, modification benches for weapon upgrades, furnaces and smelters converting copper to bronze alloy and iron to steel ingots, stoves and fridges preserving food for 15 days. Each facility has durability, requires specific metal tiers, tin for early zones, tungsten for endgame, and serves a purpose beyond aesthetics. You can even double up on furnaces if you have the space, creating actual assembly line efficiency in your base. Then there's the power system. Solar generators and biomass generators produce electricity measured in watts, which you wire through walls and floors using circuit modules to extend range. You'll connect this grid to fridges, automatic doors, lighting for those endless apocalyptic nights, and most importantly, defensive turrets. Managing your power grid during territory purification events, or PvP raids, becomes a genuine strategic layer. Run out of juice and your defenses go dark. Speaking of defense, Once Human doesn't treat your base as a safe zone you build once and forget. Mutated beasts and corruption storms can raid your territory. Players in PvP zones can attack. You need layered wooden walls, elevated firing positions, strategically placed turrets with sensor triggers, and enough power generation to keep everything running during prolonged sieges. Your base layout matters tactically. Choke points, overlapping fields of fire, protected generator rooms. It's tower defense built into your home. And when you outgrow your initial plot, unlock territory expansion in the building memetics tree and instantly upgrade from 14.4 to 32.4 square meters, more than doubling your building space. Plus, you can join a hive with friends, combining your territories for collaborative megabases with faster crafting speeds and combat bonuses. Or save entire base blueprints for instant reconstruction after seasonal server wipes. Once Human treats base building as the core survival mechanic it should be, not an afterthought, but your strategic command center, production facility, and fortress all in one. For base builders who want genuine depth alongside creative freedom, this is the one. Let's be honest, most base building games give you a cozy house to decorate. Satisfactory hands you a 30 square kilometer alien planet and says, build a factory that processes millions of items per hour across multiple production tiers and make it look good doing it. This isn't base building. This is industrial engineering from a first-person perspective, where your base is a sprawling network of automated production lines, conveyor highways, and power grids that would make a logistics manager weep with joy. The conveyor belt system is the backbone of everything. Belts transport items between buildings at different throughput rates. Mark.1 handles 60 items per minute, Mark II does 120, scaling up to Mark 6 at 1,200 items per minute. Connect a miner's output to a belt, route it to smelters, split the output to constructors using splitters, 1 input, 3 outputs, merge multiple production lines with mergers, 3 inputs, 1 output, and suddenly you've got automated iron plate production running 24/7 without touching a single item manually. Belts snap to building ports and conveyor poles, can be built in straight lines or curves, and physically show every item traveling along them. Watching resources flow through your factory is genuinely mesmerizing. But horizontal building is just the beginning. Satisfactory's genius is vertical construction. Stack foundations to create multi-story factories, smelters on ground level, constructors on floor 2, assemblers on floor 3. Use conveyor lifts to transport items between floors at rates matching belt throughput.
up to 1,200 items per minute on Model 6 lifts. Stackable conveyor poles let you run belt highways at different elevations, creating bus systems that ferry materials across your factory without clogging walkways. You can attach splitters and mergers directly to conveyor lifts mid-height for modular vertical logistics. Build logistics floors, hidden levels between production floors where belt spaghetti can run wild without cluttering your clean assembly lines above. Reserve 7 to 11 meters of headspace for these utility levels to stack 3 or 4 belts vertically. Foundations are your building canvas. Snap them to grids, hold control for precise rotation and positioning, create flat surfaces on uneven terrain, and use them as structural bases for machines, walls, and multi-story complexes. You can build production platforms in canyons, over water, at mountain peaks. Terrain doesn't limit you. It just changes your engineering challenges. Floor holes let conveyor lifts pass between levels cleanly. Wall-mounted power outlets hide power lines inside foundations. 2 splitters or mergers fit perfectly on one foundation tile without clipping. Power management adds genuine strategic depth. Early game relies on biomass burners, manual fuel from leaves and wood. Mid-game unlocks coal generators, requiring automated coal mining, water pumps, and pipe networks. Late game brings oil, nuclear, and eventually geothermal power. Power poles connect generators to machines via visible electrical lines. Each pole has connection limits, so you organize grids by production area. Overclock machines with power shards, crafted from collectible slugs, to boost output 250%, but power consumption scales exponentially. Run out of electricity, and your entire factory shuts down until you restore the grid. Pipes handle liquid transport, water, oil, fuel, acids, with flow rates measured in cubic meters per minute. Pumps lift fluids vertically. Junctions split and merge pipe networks. You'll build refineries converting crude oil into fuel, plastic, and rubber, each requiring precise pipe routing and fluid buffer management to prevent production stalls. Transportation scales beautifully. Walk and hand carry materials early on. Unlock factory carts, running on conveyor belts for automated item transport. Build trucks with autopilot routes connecting distant outposts. Construct train networks spanning kilometers with automated schedules hauling thousands of items between megabases. Hypertubes launch you through pneumatic tubes at high speed. Jetpacks and jump pads provide vertical mobility. You're not just building factories, you're creating continent-spanning logistics networks. The Space Elevator Progression System gates technology through tiers. Complete projects requiring increasingly complex components, from iron rods to supercomputers to nuclear pasta, to unlock advanced buildings, alternate recipes, and higher-tier production capabilities. Each tier demands factory expansion, forcing you to scale production, optimize throughput, and engineer solutions to bottlenecks. The MAM, Molecular Analysis Machine, researches alien artifacts and hard drives containing alternate recipes that dramatically change production efficiency. What makes Satisfactory special for builders is how it combines creative freedom with optimization obsession. You can build gorgeous glass-walled factories with perfect symmetry, or embrace conveyor belt spaghetti where efficiency trumps aesthetics. Build modular blueprints replicating production blocks. Design main bus systems feeding materials to specialized manufacturing wings. Create self-contained production pods for specific components. The only limit is your imagination and willingness to plan throughput calculations. For base builders who want every construction decision to affect industrial efficiency, where building isn't decoration, but functional engineering that must balance throughput, power consumption, and spatial logistics across massive scales, Satisfactory is unmatched. Your factory never sleeps, and watching it hum with automated perfection is profoundly, well, satisfactory.
I just wanted to find a way out.
The Altars launched on June 13th, 2025, and within 6 months, it transformed from one of the year's most stressful survival management games into something you can play with a beer in one hand while vibing to the story. And that's not a criticism, that's a masterclass in listening to your player base. So, let me set the stage. The Alters is this sci-fi survival game from 11-Bit Studios, the folks behind This War of Mine and Frostpunk, which should immediately tell you what kind of emotional damage we're dealing with here. You play as Jan Dolsky, a space miner who crash lands on this hostile planet where one of the suns will literally incinerate everything when it rises. You've got days, not weeks, days, to get your wheel-shaped mobile base operational and escape before sunrise turns you into space dust. But here's the hook. Your entire crew died in the crash. You're alone. One guy trying to do the work of an entire technical team. Scientists, doctors, miners, botanists, all gone. So the game introduces you to Rapidium, this resource that lets you create alters, alternate versions of yourself based on different life choices Jan could have made. Maybe in one timeline, Jan became a doctor. Maybe in another, he went to work at a refinery instead of going to university. Every alter has different skills, different personalities, different memories of a life they actually lived. And managing these versions of yourself is where the game gets intense. Because at launch, the Alters was built around time pressure. Everything takes time. Mining takes a chunk of your day. Crafting takes time. Cooking, healing, fixing things, it all eats into your limited daylight hours. And you're not just managing resources, you're managing the emotional states of multiple versions of yourself who can get overworked, hurt, hungry, pissed off. They can literally stage a mutiny and force you out, resulting in game over. The survival loop at launch was unforgiving. You could only save at the end of each day, so if you made a bad decision midway through, tough luck. Ride it out or lose hours of progress. The deadline was constantly looming. Magnetic storms damaged your base. Radiation outside drained your health. Your alters had needs and demands. Some wanted privacy, some needed to work out, some needed gifts, some just needed someone to talk to. Figure out what makes each guy tick, or watch your entire operation fall apart. You're venturing out onto the planet's surface with limited battery in your suit. You can only use tools for so long before you're stranded. The terrain is this intricate labyrinth where you're slowly mining resources, building power pylons to connect everything back to base, dodging environmental hazards. It felt like Death Stranding meets Fallout Shelter meets a psychological thriller about identity and choice. The game was praised at launch. 88% positive on Steam. Critics loved it. Alex Jordan's performance, voicing all 12 different versions of Jan, was phenomenal. But the feedback was consistent. This game is stressful as hell. Players were saying things like, "I love this game, but the time pressure is killing me," and "I want to experience the story without the constant anxiety." One player specifically said, "Relax mode is big for me. I was too stressed out with the deadlines." The game sold 280,000 copies by July, hit Game Pass day one, and 11-Bit Studios had a certified hit on their hands. But they also had players who wanted to experience Jan's story, who were invested in the branching narrative and the alter dynamics, but couldn't handle the survival mechanics grinding them down. Fast forward to December 8th, 2025. 11-Bit Studios drops their first major free content update, and it fundamentally changes what the alters can be for players. First up, Relax mode. This isn't just difficulty sliders, this is a completely new way to experience the game. The description literally says, "Enjoy a game with calmer survival mechanics and less time pressure." Recommended for players who want to focus on the story. You still manage your base, you still create alters, you still explore, but the oppressive time constraints are dialed way back. The survival grind that made players panic? Optional. You can now experience Jan's emotional journey, the alter dynamics, the branching narrative paths, without feeling like you're constantly on the verge of failure.
But they didn't remove the original experience. That hardcore survival management loop is still there for players who want it. They just said, hey, we see you. You want different things from this game, and we're going to give you the choice. Then there's the new save system. Remember how you could only save at the end of each day at launch? Gone. Now you can save automatically when exiting, and during key story moments. This is huge for a branching narrative game where exploring different outcomes is core to the experience. Want to see what happens if you create Jan Scientist instead of Jan Miner? Make a save before that decision. Want to experiment with dialogue choices? Save before critical conversations. The game now respects your time instead of forcing you to replay hours to see alternate paths. And here's where it gets interesting from a base building perspective. They added the Gamer's Den, a social space inside your wheel-shaped station where your crew of Jans can actually relax. There's a fully playable card game you can challenge your alters to, beer pong, movie watching, furniture like sofas, and painting setups. This isn't just cosmetic, it's emergent content that makes your base feel lived in. These aren't just resource management units anymore, they're distinct personalities with downtime activities. Customization options for both your base exterior and Jan's spacesuit. You can now paint each section of your wheel station however you want, with skins inspired by Frostpunk and other 11-bit games. Spacesuit skins, so you're exploring in style. This seems small, but it's actually about player expression. You're spending hours in this environment, now you can make it yours. Photo mode was added so you can capture moments with your crew of Jans. And look, we all know what photo mode really means. It's for players to create content, share screenshots, document their playthroughs. But it also pairs perfectly with relax mode. Now you can slow down, set up shots, appreciate the environmental design without rushing. And they threw in a noir-styled storyline, a black and white mystery mission where you're solving a shadowy crime aboard the station. It's extra content that expands the tonal range of the game and shows they're not done experimenting with the universe they created. StarRupture. And this one's for players who like their base building with a heavy dose of industrial automation and factory management. Creepy Jar, the same team behind Green Hell, StarRupture takes the survival base building formula and adds a Factorio-inspired twist. You're a prisoner on the planet Arcadia 7, forced to build factories and gather resources for faceless corporations, all while dealing with a star that periodically wipes the surface clean in apocalyptic ruptures. The base building here is all about industrial systems. You're not just constructing shelters, you're building entire automated production facilities. The game features complex resource chains, where raw materials need to be processed through multiple stages. You'll set up mining drills on resource nodes, connect them with conveyor belts to processing facilities, smelt ores into usable materials, and automate production lines to craft everything you need. What makes this exciting is the scale you can achieve. You can build massive factories with multiple production lines running simultaneously, power grids using generators and power distributors, and storage systems to handle all your materials. The building system uses a modular approach, where you're placing foundations, walls, and machinery in a way that creates efficient layouts. And because you can play with up to 4 friends in co-op, you can collaborate on building these enormous industrial complexes. But here's the twist. Remember those ruptures I mentioned? Periodically, the planet's star goes supernova and wipes the surface clean with fire and destruction. This creates a unique building challenge. You need to design bases that can either withstand the rupture or be quickly rebuilt after. There are underground areas and protective measures you can take, which adds strategic depth to base placement and construction. The game also features base defense elements because you're not alone on this planet. Hostile alien creatures attack your facilities, so you need to incorporate defensive structures into your builds. Walls,
turrets, and defensive positions become essential parts of your industrial base design. Now, StarRupture did get pushed back from its original 2025 release date, which always raises some concerns, but the developers have been transparent about needing more polish time. They recently ran a successful 2-week playtest that generated a lot of positive buzz. The Unreal Engine 5 visuals look stunning. They actually traveled to Iceland to capture realistic, harsh environment references, and the gameplay footage shows a really sophisticated building system. If you're into games like Satisfactory, Factorio, or Dyson Sphere Program, but you want it with a survival twist and co-op support, StarRupture is shaping up to be something special. The combination of factory building, automation, co-op play, and that ever-present threat of planetary destruction creates a unique pressure cooker building experience.
Let's talk about Palworld, the survival game that broke the internet in early 2024 by combining creature collection with guns, automation, and base building. Think Pokemon meets Ark, but with a factory management twist. You capture creatures called pals, explore a massive open world, and build bases that operate like self-sustaining production facilities. It sold over 15 million copies on Steam in its first month, and the base building automation is a huge reason why. Now let's talk about what you can actually build. The Palbox system. Your base starts at level 2 when you place a Palbox. This creates a circular boundary, your base zone, where everything you build must stay. The Palbox isn't just a marker. It's your PAL storage, fast travel point, and base management hub all in one. You can build up to 3 bases total, unlocked at base levels 10 and 15. This multi-base system creates genuine strategic depth. Most players run one main production hub, one dedicated mining outpost near ore nodes, and one specialized facility for breeding or resource extraction. Each Palbox doubles as a fast travel point, so smart placement cuts travel time across the map. Automation through workforce. Here's what makes Palworld different. Your pals are your workforce, and they run everything autonomously. Each pal has work suitabilities: kindling, handiwork, mining, lumbering, transporting, planting, watering, generating electricity, gathering. These aren't cosmetic traits. They determine what jobs your pals perform and how efficiently. Deploy a pal with lumbering to your base, build a logging site, and they'll autonomously cut trees and haul wood to storage. Build a plantation, assign pals with planting and watering, and you've got automated farming that runs whether you're there or not. Furnaces smelt ore automatically with kindling pals. Assembly lines operate with multiple handiwork pals working simultaneously. The CEO of Pocket Pair credits this automation mechanic as Palworld's primary success factor. You're not micromanaging every task. You're designing self-sustaining production chains. Production buildings and progression. Structure progression goes wooden to stone to metal. Wooden structures unlock early but burn during raids, so stone is the minimum for anything critical. Metal tier unlocks at level 30 and provides the best durability. Production buildings scale from primitive workbenches to high-quality workbenches to production assembly lines that allow 3 pals to work simultaneously. Weapon assembly lines, electric furnaces, crushers, mills, each unlocked through the technology tree, creates more complex automation possibilities. The depth comes from chaining production. Pals mine ore, transport it to furnaces, smelt it into ingots, move those to assembly lines, and craft finished products. All autonomous.
You're managing the workflow, not performing the tasks. Strategic layout design. Optimal base design focuses on minimizing POW travel time. Place feed boxes centrally so POWs can eat without long trips. Position storage chests near production buildings. Since you can craft using materials in any chest within your base, strategic placement cuts down on transport time. Flat, open layouts work best. Spread buildings with clear pathways between them. The game rewards functional design over aesthetics, but the production efficiency you achieve makes it worthwhile. What makes it unique? Palworld isn't a traditional survival builder. It's automation-first design, where base building means optimizing factory workflows. You're assigning specialized labor, managing production chains, and creating genuinely hands-off resource generation that continues while you're exploring, raiding dungeons, or capturing more POWs. If you want self-sustaining bases where your workforce handles everything, Palworld delivers automation depth unmatched in the survival genre. Imagine being shrunk to ant size in a massive suburban park where a discarded soda can becomes a skyscraper and grass blades tower overhead like redwoods. Grounded 2 takes the beloved backyard survival concept and explodes it into Brook Hollow Park, a sprawling 1992-era public space nearly matching the entire first game's map size just in the starting zone. Base building isn't just construction here, it's tactical survival architecture where elevation, resource proximity, and biome positioning determine whether you thrive or become bug food. The building system revolves around the resource analyzer found in Ranger outposts. Analyze every material you discover, bug parts, plant fibers, minerals, and you unlock new crafting recipes for structures, decorations, and equipment. This creates a progression loop where exploration directly expands your building options. Early game gives you grass walls and pebblet foundations. Mid-game unlocks clay brick structures and woven fiber roofs. Late game provides advanced materials like pinecone roofs and Tier 3 bug part constructions that require defeating formidable enemies. The coziness mechanic adds brilliant depth. Some advanced building recipes don't unlock through analysis. They unlock by achieving coziness levels in your base. Place furniture, decorations, and high-tier building parts to increase coziness, which gates access to premium structures and provides buffs while you're inside your base. It transforms building from purely functional to genuinely rewarding, encouraging you to create aesthetically pleasing homes that mechanically benefit gameplay. Location strategy is critical. Height provides natural defense. Most early threats are ground-based, so building on elevated platforms like rocks, giant baseballs, or table surfaces offers free protection from spiders and ants. Resource proximity matters because your needs evolve. Early bases need grass and pebblets within walking distance, while advanced bases require access to Tier 3 bug parts from dangerous biomes. Building near Ranger outposts gives free resource analyzer access and often unlimited water sources. Scout for hostile bug nests before settling. Constructing near spider dens or scorpion territories invites constant raids. The faction reactivity system makes defensive design essential. Kill too many bugs from a faction and you reach "want you gone" relationship status, triggering raids when you're near your bases. These aren't scripted events, they're random attacks where entire bug factions assault your structures. Smart builders create layered defenses, spike traps surrounding perimeters, elevated shooting platforms, reinforced walls from sturdy materials, and escape routes for emergencies. The game rewards tactical architecture where base layout directly impacts raid survivability. Building sets offer diverse aesthetic and functional options using different material combinations. Grass provides lightweight early structures. Clay bricks offer mid-tier durability. Woven fiber creates flexible designs. Each building set has distinct visual styles and structural properties, letting you customize bases to match biome themes or personal preferences while considering defensive capabilities. The workstation system structures your progression. Build essential crafting stations to unlock equipment tiers. Basic workbenches for starter gear, advanced stations for weapon modifications, specialized benches for armor crafting. Your base becomes a production hub where organized workstation placement streamlines crafting efficiency. Store materials in nearby containers organized by type, bug parts here, plant materials there, creating assembly line workflows. What makes Grounded 2's building special is how it integrates with mounted combat and exploration. Tame buggies, rideable insects like red ant soldiers and orb weaver spiders that assist with resource gathering and base defense. Send your red ant to collect materials while you build. Position your orb weaver to defend against raids with web entanglements and stun screams. Buggies transform bases from static shelters into dynamic operational centers where your insect allies actively participate in construction and protection. Early access means nomadic building strategies work best initially. Create small outpost bases across Brook Hollow Park rather than one mega fortress. Place tarp shelters near resource hotspots. Build respawn points in dangerous biomes. Establish crafting stations at strategic locations. As you unlock better materials and understand biome threats, consolidate into permanent bases with comprehensive defenses and coziness optimizations. The building grid system provides precise construction placement. Snap structures to grids for clean alignment. Stack floors vertically to create multi-story bases. Use decorative paths, rock or stick, to improve navigation and visibility in snow. The upcoming roadmap promises base moving mechanics, watery base structures for aquatic biomes, and enhanced building materials alongside new equipment tiers. For base builders who want survival construction where every placement decision affects defensibility, resource efficiency, and aesthetic progression, where you're not just building houses, but creating fortified outposts in a world where you're the size of a pebble and everything wants to eat you, Grounded 2 delivers miniature-scale survival architecture that's genuinely grounded in tactical design. Your base isn't decoration, it's your lifeline in a park-sized wilderness where bugs rule and humans are just prey. DayZ turned survival horror into an architect's nightmare. Unlike most base-building games where you're crafting cozy homes, DayZ forces you to construct fortresses, knowing they'll eventually get raided. But that's exactly what makes its base building so addictive. At its core, DayZ's vanilla base building revolves around the flagpole system. Plant a flag, and everything within its radius stops despawning. This simple mechanic becomes your survival anchor in a game where losing your stash means starting from scratch. The latest updates in 2025 refined this system, making territory management smoother while keeping that brutal DayZ edge. Building starts with gathering logs, planks, nails, and rope. You'll need short sticks to craft fence kits, then upgrade them piece by piece. The beauty lies in DayZ's modular approach. You don't just slap down a wall. You build the framework, attach planks, reinforce with sheet metal, then add watchtowers for surveillance. Each upgrade tier increases durability, forcing raiders to burn through more resources to break in. The precision placement system lets you position every element exactly where you want it. This isn't Fortnite where walls snap to grids. You're controlling rotation and height manually, creating bases that blend into environments or dominate hilltops. Strategic builders hide bases in dense forests or fortify existing structures, turning prison islands into impenetrable fortresses. But here's where DayZ gets interesting. Base raiding is part of the design. Grenades can blow through gates. Hacksaws cut locks. Coordinated teams with enough ammo can demolish metal walls.
This creates a cat-and-mouse meta where smart builders use multiple layers of defense. Airlocks, hidden stash rooms, decoy bases, while raiders plan multi-hour sieges. Popular mods like Base Building Plus expand vanilla mechanics with 30-plus new building parts, including carpets, wallpaper, and lockable doors. The DayZ expansion base building mod adds code locks, safes, and an entire territory claiming system. These mods transform DayZ into a full construction simulator, while maintaining that core tension of knowing everything you build can be destroyed. What separates DayZ base building from other survival games is permanence with vulnerability. Your base persists across server resets, storing weeks of accumulated loot. But so does the threat. Every wall you build screams, "Valuable loot here," to passing players. The best bases aren't the biggest. They're the smartest, balancing concealment with defense, storage with escape routes. In DayZ, your base isn't just shelter. It's a target, a trophy, and a tomb all at once. Project Zomboid is the game that started it all for many of us. The isometric zombie survival game that's been in early access since 2013 and somehow still feels more complete than most finished survival games. This isn't a flashy 3D survival experience. It's top-down, methodical, and absolutely brutal. Permadeath is guaranteed. The question isn't if you'll die, but when. And in this unforgiving landscape, base building becomes the ultimate long-term project. You're not building to win. You're building because creating something permanent in a world of decay is what keeps you playing past day 100. What makes Project Zomboid's base building special is the complete creative freedom through the carpentry skill system. You're not working with prefab structures or modular snap-together pieces. You're placing individual wall sections, floor tiles, door frames, windows, stairs, everything built piece by piece. Want a 2-story compound with a rooftop farm and rain collection system? Build it. Want to fortify an existing warehouse into a multi-level fortress? Do it. Want to construct a bridge over water connecting 2 buildings? Absolutely possible. The only limits are your carpentry level and available materials. Carpentry progression gates your building capabilities in a way that feels natural. Level 0 lets you build basic wooden walls and barricade windows. Level 2 unlocks wooden doors and better walls. Level 4 gives you double doors and stronger structures. Level 6, the big milestone, unlocks stairs and rooftops, letting you build vertically. Level 7 gets you log walls, the strongest vanilla defense. Each level also improves construction speed and health of built objects. Starting as a carpenter occupation gives you massive advantage, but even without it, you're reading skill books and grinding XP by building practice walls. Materials are the constant grind. Planks and nails are your bread and butter. Nails spawn in warehouses, sheds, garages, toolboxes, but they're finite. You scavenge or dismantle furniture for more. Planks come from lumber piles or sawing logs with a handsaw. 1 tree equals 1 log. 1 log becomes 4 planks. You'll need hundreds. Then there's sheet metal for reinforced structures, hinges for doors, doorknobs, screws, various tools. The material economy in Project Zomboid is legitimate resource management, not the infinite crafting loops in other games. The genius of the system is the dual approach. Fortify existing structures or build from scratch. Most players start by claiming a house, board windows with planks, reinforce doors, build interior walls to create safe rooms, add sheet rope escape routes from upper floors. Then they expand outward, walling off yards, building garages for vehicles, creating perimeter fences. Eventually, you're adding second stories to single-floor houses, building watchtowers, constructing entire annexes. But dedicated builders go full custom.
Find open land and construct from foundation up. Place wooden floor tiles for your footprint. Build walls section by section. Add door frames and hang doors. Construct stairs to a second level. Place floor tiles for the second story. Build walls and add a roof. Plumb rain barrels on the roof to sinks below for clean water. The isometric view makes complex multi-story structures challenging but deeply satisfying when you nail the design. Defense strategy revolves around layered protection. Wooden walls are your first line. Log walls at high carpentry levels become incredibly strong. Zombies will attack walls if they see you through windows or hear noise, so you board up windows and add curtains. Some players exploit the furniture fence glitch. Place a table or crate, build fence in front of it, zombies can't climb or break it. Others build elevated bases with knocked out stairs, though Build 41 made rope ladders destructible, changing that meta. The plumbing system adds another building dimension. Rain collector barrels on roofs connected to sinks below provide infinite clean water, essential for long-term survival. You're literally designing water filtration systems using game mechanics. Generators power your base once electricity shuts off, requiring fuel but enabling refrigerators, lights, and electric tools. Planning generator placement with fuel storage becomes architecture considerations. Location selection depends on playstyle. Louisville offers maximum loot but insane zombie density, veteran territory. Rosewood has fewer zombies, perfect for beginners, but limited resources. West Point and Muldraw are middle ground options. Many players prefer rural farms with existing fencing and agricultural space. Some build deep in forests where zombie spawns are minimal, but resource runs require long trips. The community has pushed building to absurd levels. Players construct entire self-sufficient compounds with farms, workshops, medical bays, armories, vehicle garages, and living quarters. Some build replica structures from other media. Others make functioning towns in multiplayer servers. The debug mode lets you copy and paste tiles, enabling even more creative mega projects. After 10+ years of development, the building meta has evolved into legitimate architecture. And here's what keeps people coming back. Your base is your legacy. When you finally die, and you will die, that base remains. In multiplayer, other players discover it. In single player, you start a new character in the same world and can return to your creation, now overrun and decayed. That impermanence makes every base meaningful. You're not building for stats or achievements. You're building because in a game about inevitable death, construction is defiance. Project Zomboid proves that isometric perspective doesn't limit base building depth. It enables it. When you give players piece-by-piece construction freedom, skill-based progression, and meaningful resource scarcity, base building becomes the endgame content. And when you finally stand on your rooftop farm overlooking your walled compound at sunset on day 200, watching zombies mill around outside your impenetrable walls, that's why we're still playing a game that's been in early access for over a decade. Because the building is that good. Okay, so Soulmask is honestly one of the wildest survival games I've played lately. You escape this crazy sacrificial ritual, find this mysterious ancient mask, and boom, you can literally possess other people's bodies. See an NPC with insane combat skills? Take over their body. That's your character now. The game just hit 750,000 players in early access and is launching full version 1.0 in spring 2026 with this massive Egyptian-themed DLC called Shifting Sands. We're talking customizable sandboats, Falcon-class airships, and new masks like Horus, Anubis, and Amun-Ra. The hype is real. But let's talk about what makes Soulmask's base building absolutely different from anything else. Here's where it gets crazy good. You're not just building a base for yourself, you're building a tribe. You can recruit up to 18 to 20 tribesmen, and each one has unique personalities, talents, and skills. Some are bloodthirsty warriors, others are master craftsmen, and yes, you might accidentally recruit a drunk, lazy guy who does nothing. It happens. The base building itself is super flexible. Finding flat ground is tough in the jungle terrain, but here's the pro tip. Build over water. Water is naturally flat, and you can extend floors 3 tiles out from a foundation without support. That means one foundation can basically create a 7x7 cube. Insane value. Location is crucial too. Early game, stick near water sources. You get clay, wood, stone, and wildlife all in one spot. Mid-game, move closer to metal deposits and ancient ruins. Late game, you're setting up near barbarian camps for XP grinding while accessing premium resources. But the real game changer? Automation. Your tribesmen can run the entire base while you're AFK. Set up farming, harvesting, assembly line production, base patrol, automatic repairs, everything. They'll keep working, gathering resources, crafting items, even defending your base while you're out exploring or offline. It's like having a full production team working 24/7. You can even customize their jobs based on their proficiency levels. Got a tribesman with maxed mining stats? Put them on ore duty. Someone with high crafting? They're running your workshop. The AI is actually smart enough to handle complex workflows. And when you get that Torch of Eternity mask, you basically become immortal when possessing tribesmen. It's in-game flex material. Soulmask in 2026 is shaping up to be massive. Between the Egyptian expansion, the automation systems, and this unique possession mechanic, it's survival gaming with a completely fresh twist. Myth of Empires offers base builders over 1,300 crafting recipes and a construction system designed for creating genuine, fortified empires. This isn't small-scale survival building. It's large-scale fortress engineering set in ancient Eastern civilizations. The building system operates on strategic placement principles. Location determines your empire's success. Underground cave bases provide single-entry defensive advantages, perfect for small groups holding against larger forces. Island fortresses in lake centers eliminate approach angles for attackers. Flatland territories offer expansion space for massive guild operations. Clifftop positions give natural defensive elevation. Each location type demands different architectural approaches. What makes Myth of Empires unique is the engineering challenge. The terrain system requires builders to solve elevation problems creatively. Foundations need flat ground, so you'll use pillar and ceiling frameworks to create level building platforms on slopes. It's actual structural engineering, laying foundations at high points, extending ceilings with pillar support, then placing fort walls to cover gaps between your platform and terrain. This transforms base building into problem solving. The recent Shijo Civilization DLC expanded construction possibilities significantly. New building recipes introduce civilization-specific architectural styles. The Imperial Fall device integrates multiple base functions: power generation, mining operations, teleportation networks, storage systems, and automated manufacturing into single structures. This creates opportunities for compact, highly efficient base designs. Defense architecture runs deep. Stone fort walls form your outer perimeter, but the system includes mechanical base defenses, siege equipment integration, and animal-powered fortification systems. You can design layered defensive zones with overlapping coverage. Guild boundary markers establish territorial control, preventing base decay while defining your construction radius. The building scale accommodates everything from solo outposts to massive guild headquarters. Production chains require dedicated workshop buildings, bloomeries for metalworking, carpentry stations for construction materials, farms for sustainability. Your base layout determines production efficiency and defensive capability simultaneously. Myth of Empires rewards builders who plan for siege warfare. Fortress battles and territorial expansion mean your construction choices have strategic weight. Wall thickness matters. Gate placement affects defense. Tower positioning determines fire coverage. Workshop protection keeps production running during raids. For base builders who want their structures to matter tactically, Myth of Empires delivers fortress construction at empire scale. Your architectural decisions directly impact territorial control and military capability. Aska delivers something most base building games don't even attempt: a settlement that actually feels alive. You're not just placing structures on a map, you're designing a functional village where every building serves a purpose in an interconnected production network. The building system gives you 28 different structure types to work with: upgraded farms with multiple field layouts, cooking houses that process raw ingredients into meals, builders' huts that let you coordinate construction projects, archery ranges and barracks for defense, bloomeries and workshops for crafting chains. Each building can be customized with functional furniture, storage solutions, and decorative elements to create your ideal settlement layout. What makes Aska unique is how your base building integrates with villager management. You're not building in isolation. You're creating workspaces for NPCs who operate on actual schedules. Your village layout directly impacts efficiency. Place your warehouse near production buildings and watch resources flow smoothly. Design your crafting quarter with logical proximity between workshops. Build outposts on distant islands and connect them through market buildings for resource transfer. The February 2025 update expanded building possibilities significantly. The new Forester building lets you create sustainable lumber operations by replanting trees in designated zones. Cave entrance upgrades give you reinforced mining outposts. Explosive sacks add terrain modification options for refreshing resource deposits. These systems transform base building from static construction into dynamic settlement evolution. You can scale from compact 25 villager operations to sprawling 100+ population cities running 3-shift rotations. The building challenge grows with complexity, designing production chains that support your population, creating defensive perimeters with walls and towers, establishing fishing huts along lake biomes, setting up farming infrastructure with proper irrigation access. Aska's procedurally generated islands mean every playthrough demands different building strategies. Flat land near caves for mining towns, lakeside settlements for fishing economies, coastal bases with shipbuilding access. The terrain forces creative architectural solutions, using elevation for layered construction, planning road networks between outposts, positioning defensive structures around resource-rich zones. For base building enthusiasts, Aska offers depth through integration. Your construction choices directly shape how your settlement functions, grows, and survives. Most Viking survival games give you axes and tell you to chop wood. Valheim hands you a hammer and says, "Prove you're worthy of Valhalla by building a mead hall Odin himself would envy." The building system uses realistic structural physics, where every beam, wall, and roof tile matters for stability. Your longhouse doesn't just shelter you from trolls and draugr, it's architectural proof that you belong among the Norse gods. And when storms rage and enemies attack, poorly designed structures literally collapse under their own weight. The structural integrity system is brilliant and punishing. Every piece displays color-coded stability. Blue means grounded, touching terrain, 100% stable. Green is good. Yellow is concerning. Orange is risky, and red means it's about to break. Place a piece onto something fully red and it immediately collapses, dropping resources. Stability degrades the further pieces extend horizontally or vertically from grounded supports. Build a wall 6 blocks high unsupported, watch it crumble. Each piece inherits maximum stability from what supports it. Add to something 50% stable, and your new piece caps at 50%. Weight matters. Stone walls hanging horizontally fail faster than wooden beams. The solution? Vertical support beams creating the shortest path to ground. Raise terrain beneath structures using the hoe so foundations touch earth, maximizing base stability. Plant trees. Yes, trees function as ground for support purposes, enabling insanely tall constructions. Use core wood, from pine trees, for stronger structural pieces than regular wood from birch and beech. Stone provides even better durability once you unlock the stone cutter. Cross-bracing with wooden beams distributes load, letting you build multi-story towers and suspended walkways that would otherwise collapse.
Terrain manipulation is essential. The hoe levels uneven ground, preventing structural weaknesses from unbalanced foundations. The pickaxe removes rock for building sites. Flatten areas completely before placing floor tiles. Half-embedded foundations cause asymmetric stability failures that ruin symmetrical buildings. Smart builders raise ground beneath structures, ensuring entire bases rest on blue stable foundations. Boulders count as terrain too, so intersecting them provides natural grounding points. Weather systems directly impact construction. Wooden pieces exposed to rain decay to 50% durability, developing rotting textures until repaired. The solution? Proper roofing. Use actual roof tiles, not floor tiles repurposed as ceilings. Only real roof tiles protect from wind and weather. Build chimneys or roof openings for indoor campfires, angled to prevent rain entry while venting smoke. Smoke accumulation damages players over time, so ventilation isn't aesthetic, it's survival. The workbench radius system gates construction. You can only build within workbench range, and repairs require appropriate crafting stations nearby. Workbench for wood, stonecutter for stone. Place workbenches throughout your building site to extend construction zones. Advanced tip: hidden workbenches in perimeter walls or covered pits prevent enemy spawns in their radius, creating safe zones without visible clutter. Comfort mechanics reward interior design. Furniture, like beds, benches, chairs, banners, and rugs, increase comfort levels up to 17+, extending the rested buff duration, vital for stamina regeneration, to 24 minutes. A well-furnished mead hall isn't cosmetic, it's mechanical advantage. Use partitions and half-walls to contain furniture without visual clutter. Place beds near campfires for spawn point functionality. Hide fireplaces in stone walls, preventing smoke damage while maintaining warmth. Defensive design matters critically. Enemies attack light sources and crafting stations aggressively. Build palisade walls with stake defenses around perimeters. Construct moats forcing enemies into kill zones. Create watchtowers and archer positions with half-wall protection. Design multiple exits for emergency escapes. Hide valuable items in separate secured rooms in case main defenses breach. Build on elevated terrain pillars. Most creatures can't scale steep walls. And minimizing terrain alteration improves FPS while providing natural defenses. Advanced techniques unlock creative freedom. Snap mechanics auto-align pieces for tight fits. Hold shift to disable snapping for custom angles. Stack chests vertically using 1x1 floor tiles as shelves, then destroy shelves. Chests hover indefinitely, quadrupling storage density. Use wood beams as snap points for outdoor flooring. Build recessed walls by placing doors for 3 snap points, using innermost points creating depth. Construct suspended platforms by placing 1-meter beams on floor edges, then 2-meter beams in front as supports for next tiles. avoiding dangerous balancing acts on high builds. Progression unlocks materials. Wood and thatch for starter structures, core wood for stronger builds, stone for fortifications, iron for reinforced construction, black metal for end-game bases. The cultivator plants crops and trees, enabling farm infrastructure. The forge processes bronze, iron, and other metals for advanced building components. Blast furnaces, kilns, and fermenters require dedicated crafting rooms as your base evolves from shelter to industrial complex. Viking aesthetics emerge through careful design. Traditional longhouses stretch 10 by 15 meters with internal campfires, cooking stations, beds aligned along walls, and roof beams hiding straw textures. Built on hills for visibility and prestige, Vikings displayed wealth through impressive hilltop structures visible from distances. Palisades with round edges, though they take rain damage without coverage. Mead halls with high ceilings, decorative shields, banners displaying faction colors. Throne rooms and treasure vaults. Dungeons for containing Grey Dwarfs, seriously. For base builders who want construction where physics actually matters. Where structural engineering determines whether your mead hall survives or collapses during the next troll raid, and where proving your worth to Norse gods means building architecture worthy of Valhalla. Valheim delivers Viking survival with genuine architectural stakes. Your longhouse isn't decoration, it's testament to your engineering skill, and Odin is watching. Enshrouded launched as this voxel-based survival action RPG set in the corrupted fantasy realm of Embervale. You wake up as a Flameborn, humanity's last hope, and you're immediately thrown into a world shrouded in deadly fog. The core hook? The shroud itself. These were time-limited danger zones, packed with hostile enemies and valuable loot. You had maybe 5 minutes max in the shroud before you died, which created this natural progression system where upgrading your flame altar extended your survival time. And look, credit where credit's due, the foundation was solid. The voxel building system at launch was already embarrassing other survival games. We had snap-to-grid mechanics that actually worked, terrain manipulation that let you carve mountains into fortresses, and freeform placement when you wanted to get creative. The grappling hook and glider made traversal feel incredible. You could zip across gaps, glide over terrain, and the double jump? Chef's kiss. The combat had 3 distinct archetypes: melee, ranged, and magic, with proper skill trees and a respec system that encouraged experimentation. The game launched with 5 biomes, level cap at 25, and 16-player co-op that actually worked at launch. You'd summon NPCs to your base who'd give you crafting recipes and quests. The survival mechanics were refreshingly forgiving. Hunger and thirst didn't kill you, they just affected your combat efficiency. Drinking water boosted endurance, eating food boosted constitution. It was survival without the tedious punishment. But here's the thing about that early access launch, and I cannot stress this enough. There was no water. Like, functionally none. Sure, you had static puddles scattered around for visual flavor, maybe some decorative streams that were basically just textures. But water as a dynamic, interactive element didn't exist. You couldn't place it, couldn't manipulate it, couldn't build with it. For a survival base builder, that's a massive gap. Now fast forward to November 10th, 2025. The Wake of the Water update drops, and Enshrouded becomes genuinely unrecognizable. First off, actual water. Not decorative, not static. Fully dynamic, voxel-based, physics-simulated water that you can manipulate however you want. You can route rivers, create canals, build aqueducts, design waterfall systems, fill entire trenches. Water behaves like real water. It takes the shape of its container, flows downhill, fills empty spaces. You can place it anywhere with the portable water pump, or set up rain barrels to capture rainwater over time. But it gets better. They added the Veilwater Basin, a completely new late-game tropical biome located between the Albaneve summits and Blackmire. We're talking jungle temples, lagoons, beaches, and vast expanses of water with underwater ruins and dungeons. Swimming and diving mechanics completely change exploration. You can dive into any body of water now, navigate winding submerged tunnels, hunt for treasure in underwater caves. There's an oxygen system. You've got limited air, and if you run out, your health drains fast. The new gear, foods, and potions are specifically designed to combat the wet debuff you get from swimming and help you stay underwater longer. You've got an underwater grappling hook from the carpenter and a mining sieve from the blacksmith that functions as your underwater pickaxe. Because yeah, try swinging a regular pickaxe underwater. Fishing is now a full minigame. Craft a basic fishing rod, combine it with different baits, cast into bodies of water, and fight fish in a stamina-based minigame where you push opposite their pull. Different baits catch different rarity fish. Better rods give you a chance at epic catches. Fish can be cooked at the new Seafood Grill crafting station, and we've got new workstations like the roaster, coffee brewer, and grind mill that use a force mechanic powered by windmills or water wheels. And the water wheel situation? That's where it gets interesting for us builders. You can create elaborate flowing water systems, build elevated platforms, fill them with water using the pump, place water dispensers in walls to create waterfalls, and position water wheels underneath to generate force for your grind mills. The mechanics are legitimately complex. You can even build underwater bases by using flame altars to temporarily remove water, then quickly placing walls before it flows back in. There are water barrier walls that let you walk through while keeping water out. The building possibilities went from great voxel system to you can literally terraform and manipulate water physics. But they didn't just add water. The weapon and combat overhaul is massive. Weapons now actually match their thematic identity. Those ice-coated daggers that did 0 ice damage at launch? Fixed. Durability increased across the board. All previously unlocked lore weapons are now craftable at any tier, so you're not stuck with that weapon you loved at level 15. They added an entire greatsword weapon class. Enemies now drop powerful versions of existing weapons based on their level and rarity. And remember animal taming from the Souls of the Frozen Frontier update last November? You've got goats, yaks, dogs, cats, deer, and now capybaras, the docile, non-hostile creatures you can tame and bring back to your base. Build barns, create markets, breed offspring. The Veilwater Basin introduced the Drac, reptilian enemies equally dangerous on land and in water, plus giant crabs, water reptiles, and a whole new survivor NPC, Captain Melville, who specializes in fishing. So when I say Enshrouded is unrecognizable from its January 2024 launch, I mean it literally. This went from a solid voxel survival game with great building mechanics and no water, to having arguably the best water implementation in any survival game on the market right now. The ability to manipulate water dynamically, build underwater bases, create complex irrigation systems, combine water wheels with grinding mechanics. That's not an update. That's a fundamental transformation of what the game is. The base Enshrouded player from early 2024 would log in now and spend the first hour just experimenting with water physics. The game that launched with 5 biomes and the level 25 cap now has multiple massive biome additions, a level 45 cap, fishing, taming, dynamic weather, great swords, and water that flows like actual water. That's what happens when developers commit to their early access roadmap and actually listen to their community. Water was the most requested feature. They delayed the update from October to November 10th specifically to get it right.
And from everything we've seen, they got it very right.